Beggars can't be choosers.
Pick your battles. Ok. Max, qu'est-ce que tu bois en ce moment? Qu'est-ce que tu bois?
Man, ça sonne tellement fake, ça sonne tellement comme si on s'est arrangé pour que tu me reposes la même question que tu m'as posée avant.
Qu'est-ce que t'as dans ton verre?
Honnêtement, man, j'ai pas dépensé. J'ai dépensé 0$ en bière dans les derniers mois. Tout est la brasserie, man. Une fois que tu commences à travailler comme brasseur, t'as de la bière, comme ça, pas de bon sens.
J'ai la même situation chez nous, man. J'ai de la misère à vider mon fridge pour mettre de la nouvelle bière dedans.
Ah ouais, c'est ridicule. Ah ouais. C'est le genre de choses qu'il faut comme activement, les monde qui me donne la bière, je suis comme non, c'est beau, j'en ai pas de besoin.
Tout le monde veut donner de la bière, t'es comme non, c'est correct, j'en ai assez. Non, mais comme tu vas dans une brasserie, fais juste me donner ta brasserie pour que j'en aille. T'es comme non, c'est correct, j'en ai assez. T'en veux pas. J'ai pas besoin. Je bois pas.
Hello and welcome to Hops and Brews. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Have a good stretch together. Get all those rusty muscles moving. Back on our chairs. Back on long distance video once again because COVID things happening once again. And also long distance relationship is hard for me and Max. But
you gotta keep it interesting, sext once in a while, send an appropriate and a wanted dick pic to your best friend,
Hey, gotta respect the man. He has a good D.
Yeah. Always get permission first.
It's such a good way to start the video, right? We're trying something different because me and Max, we sat down and we're like, you know what? It's been a while since we recorded a video. So what can we do to make it happen, but also bring us closer together outside of just sharing sexy pictures from each other, but sitting down and drink beer and talk about it because that's what we're made for. Not just for those sexy pictures, but for the sexy beer things that we're doing. So what we'll be doing in those series is basically sitting down in a longer format video where me, Chris, the dude who's always a bit too much about marketing stuff, talking with Max, who's also the dude from marketing, but now he's a brewer, so he knows stuff more than Chris does. So I'll be asking Max.
I definitely know a thing or two.
Hopefully you know stuff because I have questions.
Mask? Yeah.
I called you Max instead of Max. Oh, man.
Yeah. Which is, it's COVID. So, yeah, you call me Max.
That's your nickname. It's your COVID-19 name. This video is going to get flagged for COVID fake news stuff. I'm pretty sure, but whatever. So, Max, this week, I want you to enlighten me with knowledge about Incognito hops. It's a new hop. It's not a new hop, but it's a new way of hopping. I've seen that at the brewery where I work, where the studio is located right here. And I'm still not sure what it really is and what it really does and what's the actual impact of using Incognito in your actual brew.
Yeah, you came up with this, it was a subject, and you kind of went oh, what's Incognito hops? I had no idea. I've never heard of this type of hop, which is not, I thought it was a new hop. It's not a new hop, it's a new way of hopping. Extract hops have been a thing for a while. So, while I was in college for brewing, we went to Germany and we saw a hop farm. We went to Hopsteiner. And they were showing us a bunch of different products that they're kind of developing and trying to introduce to the market, which is there's different ways or different reasons why they would want different formats. So they showed us this one thing, which was basically a concentrated can of hops. So it's basically just you're just pressing hops together into a can and you create a concentrate of that hop, but by still getting the grassy notes. The other thing that they showed us that was very interesting, kind of innovative in a certain way, was hop extract. So you're extracting only what you want from that hop. So you're not getting any of the grassy note or the vegetal side. You're really only getting that lupulin powder and creating another concentrate, but without the green note of it. So you're maximizing the flavor at that point. Incognito, as you said, Chris, it seems to be just another extract that's marketed differently, which is why I think both our expertise in this industry kind of mesh together for this, in the sense that, to me, after reading what it is, it's just an extract. There's a lot of ways to use extract. There's a lot of reasons to use extract. I'm not a huge fan, but it is useful. It's not useful. But at this particular stage, Incognito, it's just a fancy way of saying we've got this new product. You know, like, try this. Try tasting the difference from this thing.
Yeah, because it does sound like a super secret ingredient that you're adding into your beer. And to be a bit more clear about it, Incognito has been launched by this group called Haas. I don't have the right pronunciation for it, but it's written HAAS, and it's a hop supplier out there in the US. They launched this back in April 2019 under the label Incognito, using only Incognito Mosaic, Citra, and Equanut, if I'm not wrong. And they all come in 3 kilo jugs, and it's jugs. It looks like motor oil when you look at it from the outside, and it's resinous, it's thick, and it smells so strong that when I've seen brewers using it, they're not wearing masks because whatever, like, they're alone brewing. But like, they're close to that, and they're wearing gloves, because if it gets on your fingers, it stains your skin, and you'll smell hops for like days after that. And
of what, like, I haven't used a lot of it, but it's very it's almost like resin. It's almost like pine resin, or almost pine tar, in the sense that it is very sticky, and it's a concentrate at that point. The thing with brewing is most of the ingredients you're using, they're not, like, aside from chemicals, the rest of it is pretty safe. You're gonna drink it, so there's no reason to wear a mask while you're using that. And as you were saying, they use it mostly in the boil. Other breweries have been using it as a dry hop. So in the boil, in the whirlpool, what's going on is you're sanitizing it, or at least you're sterilizing it by adding it into your boil. So into 100-degree plus temperatures. Therefore, you're killing off any kind of bacteria or anything pathogens that would be on it. So that's why you would use it. But you're also concentrating the alpha acid, so you're extracting a bit of bitterness from the extract, and you're extracting a lot of the flavor, almost 100% flavor, without those green grassy notes. As we were talking before, actually, I mean, Chris, I like those grassy notes. I like when something has a bit of a hop burn. And that mostly is done through the dry hopping, which apparently people have been using this extract, this Incognito extract, as a dry hop addition as well, which I don't get. That I find kind of weird. I don't know why you would want that, because of what I remember, of what I've seen extract being used, is it tastes a little fake, a little exaggerated. I gave Chris the example. It's like fake crab. It's like those crab sticks that you see put in salads or stuff like that.
It's goberge in French, but I don't have the right name in English.
Yeah. I think in English it's just imitation crab.
Yeah, fish. It basically spends his whole life being a fish, then gets killed to be sold as not being himself. It's so sad when you think about it.
It is quite sad. But yeah, so they basically, you're right, they take a fish, and then they just coat that fish with the with crab extract. So they take the scales and they take the outside of the crab, they just mush it and then mix it with that fish to create this imitation. So you don't have the same kind of pureness. You know, when you have real crab versus fake crab, there's a big difference in flavor. Same thing with vanilla. If you have vanilla extract and you have pure vanilla, there is a difference in the flavors. I guess vanilla is a little more attractive way to describe this. But yeah, so if you have real vanilla, it's a lot more. The reason why I went with crab is because in the imitation crab, you have actual crab. In vanilla, you don't have any vanilla. They take the flavors from bark. Bark has the same essential oils as vanilla, and they just take that, which is a cheaper way to create vanilla flavor. And with hop extract, you're not using as much of the vegetal, of the actual flour, therefore you're getting more liquid out of your batch, which is great, but you're you're getting a little more fakeness from it. Maybe not a lot, maybe just a little, but it does, to me, taste off. It doesn't taste pure. Don't necessarily take my word for it. I'm a lager guy. I am not as much into those, double IPAs and triple dry hop stuff. Like, I don't care as much for that. I think dry hopping is great, and I do believe that you should use it sparingly, but you should use it in pretty much every beer. It's another tool in your tool belt when you're a brewer. And even for a lager or pilsner, having a little bit of dry hop can really get those floral notes up and help with balancing the whole beer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that's been like the issue when we use Incognito first time here at the brewery. What we found is that most of our double IPAs went a bit too overboard with the overripe fruit presence in the beer. So if we had, let's say, mangoes or pineapple, we were really flirting with those overripe, too sweet notes. And even though we were making adjustments on the malt build to reduce that residual sweetness in the beer, even though it's like a double IPA at 8%, we were still getting those like a little bit too sweet notes. And it kind of like messed up with our heads for a long time, like a good 3 months being like, how can we just like smoothen down those notes and maybe get some fresher notes of fruit in there. And we actually talked with the guys at Buck Canada that are like really fantastic big IPA makers here in Canada, and they shared with us that little secret about using Incognito and how it impacted the actual fruitness of the beer and the aromas present in there, and it really made a big difference. I think like the collab that we did with that Cinquième Baron did with Hopism, which is the collab they did with Beerism. Max, you missed it. There's no more cans left, but it was good. It was
really
good. Was made with partially with that, even though it was massively hopped with Nelson Sauvin and Galaxy. I think it's something that like I love seeing technology or new advancements in ingredients in beer that pushes it just a little bit further down the road, and also adds, like Max said, other tool sets to the toolbox of being a brewer. It adds weapon to their arsenal to create better beers, but also give better yield, also better pricing for their beers. But what I've read also about the Incognito hops makes it easier to transport. It's cheaper on transport costs too at the same time, which I think it's kind of like a smart thing to might be like overlooked sometimes. Like big boxes of hops takes space in bigger trucks and burn more fuel and whatever. So if you're a brewery that's focused a bit more around like being carbon neutral or whatever, I think it could be a better option in the end process.
Yeah, man, you're not wrong with that. That's actually a neat kind of idea that I didn't even think of. If you can not only reduce the amount of particles in your liquid and the wort that you're creating in the beer that you're creating to maximize the output, but you're also limiting the actual space that the stock takes in your brewery, you're definitely not only saving costs, but you're also helping the environment in a way. Not to say that maybe the process to actually get that extract is not necessarily the best. There is always energy that has to be put into something for something to be. You always have that kind of exchange of energy. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm not against necessarily trying this stuff. I think it is very interesting, and could potentially save, not necessarily save a brewery, but save some aspects of a brewery if used correctly. And I'm happy that you guys were able to kind of dial it in and figure out how to properly use it, as other breweries have been doing. And I think, as I've mentioned, if it's a tool in your tool belt as a brewer, therefore you don't have to overdo it. What I'm seeing a lot in the industry is a brewery or an individual who sees one thing and then puts everything into it and overdoes it to a point where you're diluting yourself because you're doing it too much. IPAs are a great example of this. People are trying to overdo themselves. Who was it that had the 90-minute IPA? It was a 90-minute IPA?
Yeah, they had the 60 to 90 and the 120.
Yeah. Who was that? Dogfish?
Yeah, Dogfish.
Yeah. So their whole shtick was that they were adding hops throughout the whole boil. They had this shake table, they said, and it would slowly vibrate hops in as you go. And on paper, it's useless. It doesn't do anything to your beer because the timing of when you're adding your hops is super important. If you want bitterness, then you're adding it earlier in your boil. If you want flavor, adding it later. If you're doing that, if you're adding hops throughout your whole beer, what you end up doing is you're just not utilizing your hop properly. You're wasting money, you're wasting funds. And same thing, I think, with this is if you go, cool, I don't need to buy hops anymore, I'm just going to buy this extract, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You still need to use hops. Hops is an essential ingredient to beer. By not using that or by thinking that, oh, this is the future, this one product is going to make hops obsolete. It's not. I can tell you right now, beer has been around for thousands of years and the recipe has always been the exact same. You're not going to change that with a new way of extracting flavor from hops because people are going to want the same beer they had last week.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why the big macro beers are working and still working to this day, and they still sell and oversell everything else on the market. It's because people, it's what they want. They want consistency in their products.
Yeah. They want consistency and authenticity, right? I pronounced two very complicated
100%.
words back to back.
Yeah.
Congrats, Chris.
Yeah, but I think you're right. When it comes to craft beer, people are not just looking for consistency, but they're looking for authenticity in what they are consuming. Therefore, using that product in an overuse of that product might not be the best.
The best
but
solution. Yeah.
A little bit can't hurt.
A little bit never hurts. And from what I've seen, it's a good base layer for your juicy IPAs out there. But again, it's only available in Citra, Mosaic, and Equinox. So what do the future reserve for Incognito? We don't know. What does it reserve for extracts? We don't know. But what I do know is that was a fantastic conversation, Max.
That was great. I don't know how long we did. We definitely have to do more, and we will be doing more. Now, maybe not as, regular as we used to be on this channel, but we just wanted to make sure that you guys know that we're still around, and we're still talking about this, and we're still doing content, or at least trying to make our own content. We just gotta, every once in a while you gotta reimagine yourself. You gotta figure out, what works, what doesn't work, and just take a step back. And that's what we did, and now we're back.
And stretch those creative muscles. And since we've been blabbering that much about one subject in beer in general, why don't you let us know what would you like to hear us blabber about in the next episode? Because we're open for suggestion. We'll do those every 2 weeks or so it gives us time to chat about it in text, in calls and whatever, and always have a cool conversation with you guys. So I think it's gonna be a cool thing, and it feels good to be back on set, even though we're far from each other. But we can still send sexy pictures to each other at the same time.
Yes, and it is currently Thursday, and I'm waiting for your pic, Chris. It's been all day now, and I just can't help myself.
Yeah, but what you don't know is that I'm not wearing any pants now.
I am not either, Chris. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys, if we're not canceled, in the next episode of Hops and Bros.
Don't cancel us, please. Don't. We'll be sad. Very sad. Super sad.